Good morning and a warm welcome to all the leaders who have joined us today. My name is Rajiv Sood. I look after the business development for Zoxima globally. Before I get into the agenda for today, let me introduce my fellow panelists with you. I have Tangway from Microsoft join us today. Tangway leads the Microsoft low-code platform sales for US East. He's been in Microsoft for more than 5.5 years. I also have my colleague Jappreet. Jappreet leads the global operations for us, and he leads the technology as well as customer deliveries at Zoxima. I would also like to give you a quick introduction of Zoxima to you. Zoxima started as a CRM company 10 years before, and today we work very closely with Microsoft on developing and delivering applications on Microsoft low-code Power Platform, and also are working extensively on Microsoft CoPilot. The agenda for today is that we are going to have presentations by Tangway, by myself, and a detailed product demos by Jakpreet, and followed by a question and answer session. Let me invite Tangway to talk about what Microsoft is doing in the AI space and how Microsoft low-code Power Platform is changing the dynamics in the low-code arena.
And good morning to everybody, and thank you for joining us to learn more about what is the Power Platform, what is exactly low code, and how can we work together on it. My name is Tanguy Carrère. I am a Power Platform leader here at Microsoft for the US East low code business. Today, what I want to talk about is the fact that AI technology is truly here and it's here to stay. You can see from all the articles on the right that the AI technology is making a lot of noise. And I'm sure each and one of you, after registering to join this webinar, you've understood that AI is going to take a part into your company's future. Now, when we think about it, the world around us is definitely evolving and changing. Industry are transforming rapidly, the drivers for economic growth are evolving, and technology is an inflection point. Most of that has not changed. Change within our companies has always been here. Now, what's interesting for us is taking a view of what I just talked about from an AI standpoint. When you think about AI has been here for a while. So why haven't we talked about it more in the past? The first part is more about artificial intelligence. AI, as we name it today, started in the 1950s, and it's really the early stages of what AI is today. It was only about computer science that seeks to create intelligent machines to replicate or exceed human intelligence. Now, when you think about few years later, machine learning, that's where it really starts getting interesting. That's when you have machines that are able to look at data and understand what is this data going to make for the company. And then you see it took a lot of years of hard work and deep research to get into what really AI is today. The deep learning only started back in 2017. And to me, that's when the large learning and large language models really came together into defining a neural networks that can actually be used to process the data. Most of the companies you're representing today are leveraging a form of LLM or deep learning. And then finally, the one that we want to talk about today, the one that is going to change the way we do business forever, which is generative AI. Creating new written and visual and auditory content based on prompts. So if you think about it, deep learning is kind of a copilot that you have, but that you need to ask question to, and that is not able to generate anything. And now generative AI, it's a copilot that knows you, that is next to you, and understands what you can do and where you want to do things and how to create those, especially. Now, the opportunity is truly yours to lead the AI transformation, and I love that each one of you has taken the step to be here today and talk about AI transformation within the Power Platform. Zoxima will jump into more of the use cases and how can we make this real. I will first introduce you to the core concepts of the Power Platform. So when you think about it, the Microsoft Cloud is the building blocks of the transformation, the digital transformation that most of your company are going through. And now we want to talk about the AI transformation. The reason why I brought this slide up today is a lot of us are thinking, hey, I want to make sure that my company is AI ready. Then you would have to reverse engineer this slide and think about, okay, what are the steps we've taken when it comes to digital transformation, not just for the employee experience, but also where your data is sitting, and then take you through a step again in reverse engineering into the cloud, being Microsoft or another one. What you see here is that Microsoft is fueling our AI innovation. As I talked about a little bit earlier, from the 1950 all the way to today, that represents decades of research and development. One thing that I really want to land on this topic about fueling innovation is trust. Something that is really important to Microsoft is whatever you do with generative AI, with your data is yours. There's not a single point where Microsoft will leverage your data to train any of our models or any of our algorithm. And that's really, really core to what we do here at Microsoft. So now that we've talked a little bit about what is ahead of us, what is the AI journey that we can go after, and how did we come to this point, I'd love to take a quick step back into where we see most of the organization we work with and what are these stages. For some companies that are with us on the phone today, you would be at the low-code 1.0. The low-code 1.0 is what we refer to as some of the Excel critical apps that have been built. I'm sure if you look around and you look into your company, you have a lot of things that are being run on Excel or on an old database that is really critical to your business. So that's what we will call low-code 1.0. And then you have low-code 2.0, which is what we would call maybe improved velocity. You have a lot of players that are able to actually support the growth of automation and low-code apps, but they're not able to give you a platform. They're able to give you a point solution to a specific problem, not an over view of a solution as a platform. And then the final one, which is the journey, most customers are not there yet, but that's where we can take you with Zoxima, with our partners and Microsoft. That's the Low-Code 3.0. And that's the topic of today. It's really taking you through what are the things that you can do with low-code, with an entire platform approach that can then remove the challenge of shadow IT, that can remove the challenge of having multiple vendors in your environment, and really give your team the productivity tool that they've been looking for years. So when you think about the Power Platform is known as the most complete low-code platform, but it's also the number one low-code platform on the market worldwide. There are a few components that I want you to be aware of. And again, we're not going to do a deep dive today. If you want to, please reach out to us at the end of this webinar. But the first one that I want to talk about is the Dataverse. We often think about the Dataverse as a data repository, and I think it's fair. But what you want to think about when you look at this is think about all the SharePoint that you have in your environment that are most likely used as database when they should not, where that creates data silos that you're not able to get into. The Dataverse is the solution for that. Dataverse is built on the Azure cloud, and that gives you the ability to build apps, automation, pages, BI, and Studio, thanks to having a single environment. We'll get into that and the complexity of it more in details as we go. But when you think about it, it's super straightforward. Anything apps related would be with Power Apps, web and mobile app development. Anything related to building automation and workflow would be with Power Automate. Then I will spend a minute on Copilot Studio. Copilot Studio is the best tool when you want to either create a new chatbot or personalize a Copilot experience within your company. So if you think about having Copilot for M365, for example, or Copilot for security, then the best way to customize this environment will be to leverage Copilot Studio. Then you have Power Pages to build a data-centric business website. And finally, the Power BI platform to build analytics and reporting. when you think about that, what's really important and that sometimes get challenging is, okay, but where does this environment sit compared to um, my existing Microsoft footprint or workload? So you see at the bottom we have Azure. That's the core of everything we have. Everything is through a single cloud that has identity, security, management, and compliance all across. So if you have your AD set up, you just need to run the same environment and the same rules like the RBAC into your environment. And then you have the Dataverse that I talked about. You can see we have the Power Platform. Power Platform initially was designed to expand the capabilities of products like Dynamics 365. So if you're already using Dynamics, let's think about the use cases you have with the Power Platform. And the one you have at the top, really core to what we do, is not everyone is going to run entirely on the Microsoft platform. And that's okay, because now with the Power Platform, you have this connective tissue that you can use to bridge the gap between your on-prem environment, your third-party data, into your Microsoft environment or SaaS tools, which makes it pretty special. One thing that I'd love to talk about on this slide, and you can see the numbers, is what I talked about a little bit earlier. This is the number one adopted local platform in the world. That represents more than 33 million monthly active users. That's massive. If you think about 33 million monthly active users, it means the platform can definitely do something for your company, that there are more than 10 use cases you can go after within your organization. The question is, how can we get you started? And we'll talk about that with Zoxima. What I want to show here is where does the Power Platform sits. Remember when I talked about using Copilot Studio to customize your experiences? That would be within the Power Platform. But the thing that is really, really core to what we talk about, the Copilot for Power Platform gives your employees the ability to create experiences leveraging generative AI. I want to create an app that is going to be data inventory based on this data set. You don't need coding. You just need to know how to write it down and prompt Power Apps to actually do it for you. And this is my last slide, but I would love to show you a quick video about what Power Apps can do for your organization. Think about these numbers at the bottom that to me are extremely relevant to the audience we have today. When you think about 140% return on investment over 3 years, this is based on specific use cases that we can help you define with the help of a partner like Zoxima. And before I give it to Zoxima, let me go ahead and share a quick video about what is the power of generative AI within Power Apps.
Next generation AI and Power Platform is changing how you develop low-code applications. Now with Power Platform, you can use natural language to bring ideas to life in a new design experience. With Copilot and Power Apps, describe your app in a few simple words, and next generation AI will create your app and help you refine and update it. With Copilot and Power Automate, building flows to automate your world has never been easier. You can start by describing your process in a few simple sentences, and Power Automate will build your flow. With Copilot and Power Virtual Agents, building a complex chatbot to answer and manage internal and external conversations has never been simpler. And with the AI Builder, you have access to the Azure OpenAI model in a low-code experience to configure and embed next-generation AI to generate, summarize, classify, translate text, and more in your apps and flows in a few clicks. The future of low-code starts today. Imagine it, describe it, Power Platform builds it.
Thank you. And now let's see how our partners are actually making it real with a few use cases.
Thank you, Tanguy, for taking us through the magic of Power Platform and also the power of the Microsoft Copilot. We are actually living in very exciting times and seeing Microsoft bringing out the capabilities and amazing products for benefit of use of generative AI by our customers. I will now talk about how we as an organization are using Power Apps low-code platform and CoPilot for delivering intelligent apps to our customers. We already have some 16 use cases, apps which are ready and which can be deployed at any customer in a very quick time. And we have already deployed these applications at multiple locations. But we can deliver any custom app which our customer would require for any business scenario. The few things which we feel are of a great advantage for our customers our apps is that we are able to very beautiful UI UX for especially on the mobile side. So we can actually get mobile apps which are native like, and these apps can work across very complex business scenarios. We have many field apps where we have used Power low-code platform Power Apps and delivered mobile apps for sales teams, for van sales, for distributors, channel partners, and so on and so forth. And it's really amazing to see the way we can deliver these mobile apps for our customers. The other very important aspect is that we are actually going beyond the transactions, which means that it's not only about the workflows and approvals. Today we have integrations which are available with all major ERP systems, be it as SAP, Oracle, or even native with Microsoft. But then I think there are capabilities where we can have RPA extract a lot of information, a lot of data, and then giving us for approvals, workflows, and these approvals can happen on Teams. And then there could be integrations with DocuSigns, and then the information can be pushed back to a ERP system or to any other transactional system. So the way this whole application would today go beyond transactions and bring in a real collaboration between the business users, internal to organization or external to organization, is very amazing. You spoke about the CoPilot and the capabilities of CoPilot to generate applications. What we have utilized is the power of the CoPilot Studio, where we have given the power of conversational AI on top of the applications which we have developed. So our applications on Power Apps are today available with conversational AI capabilities, and they can be configured and deployed in no time. And these applications, as I said, would work across not only the internal stakeholders, but external partners, channel partners, vendors, and so on and so forth. And Power BI is naturally integrated across all the apps which we develop, whether they are web applications, mobile applications, or external portals. I will now talk about few of the use cases or the applications which we have deployed at multiple locations, and you will find that they are across business functions. So we have multiple applications which are on the sales and the distribution area, and subsequently Jappreet is going to talk about and show us in detail at least 3 applications, one in the sales side, one on the HR side, and one on the operation side. But then the list of these 16 applications, which are fairly mature today, can be deployed in no time. But as an organization, we can deliver any applications even beyond these areas which we have listed here. So what I will do is I'll quickly talk about 2-3 more applications which will give you a perspective as to the complexity which we have handled. And before I pass it on to Jappreet to show us at least 3 applications in detail. I will talk about, say, invoice processing application where we can have Vendors send us invoices either on emails or through portals, or they can send us physical copies of invoices where AI capabilities of reading these invoices from the email, or OCR scanning of these invoices, and then the application gets data from the ERP system, whether it is a PO data or the GRN data, and then depending upon the vendor, the type of product, the plant location, and it puts it for approval hierarchy within the organization. In the whole process, the checks and balances which required to be seen, whether the invoice is as per the PO, whether the material has been received correctly. All that validations happen, and the full invoice is taken for approvals from various stakeholders, and it actually goes and it gets into through integrations to the ERP in the payables module. And whenever there is a payment triggered, the information actually flows back to the vendor. So we will have applications being extended to vendors. We will have a lot of AI components in the application, and then approvals, workflows, stats defined in the application and integrated it with the ERP system. Many of these approvals will actually flow on Teams and emails seamlessly. So this is one application which actually we have delivered on SAP, we have delivered on Microsoft ERPs. Other application which we find very useful for most of our customers is a customer onboarding application. So where we'll have maybe a field person triggering a request to onboard a dealer or a retailer, and he goes does a survey, finds a potential customer or a channel partner, and then the onboarding process starts. So there are a lot of AI components and Google integrations which allow us to intelligently plan a customer location or a dealer location or a retailer location, and then whole lot of document capturing, document flow, customers submitting the documents, the validation of these documents against statutory portals, the tags which can be which are defined for various functions, and collaboratively the sales teams, the market development teams, the credit management teams, the finance teams working on a particular approval process, and then once all the approvals are done, all the credits are defined, it gets back to the ERP system for a customer code to be opened. So this complete application is available with us. Then the third application which I can talk about before I hand it over to Jeffrey would be, say, a made-to-order scenario in a manufacturing organization. So we can have on one side maybe a brand owner which is giving a customer, a manufacturer order, and there are various teams within the manufacturing setup which are working for customer interactions, for design, for sampling, and there are processes and tasks which needs to be there and need to be tracked for an on-time delivery of the material to the customer. And it actually works, where the customer also has complete information or availability on where the stages are. There is a lot of collaboration happening on documents, on designs, for approvals, for samples on approvals, and everything is tracked as a tag. And end of the day, we have to ensure that everything the customer receives the material on time. And it can be both pre-production and the post-production processes as well. So the complete suite of application is available with us. We have deployed it at multiple locations, and this can be utilized. Uh, um, I just want to repeat here that all these applications which we have listed here, it is not it is not something that these are the only things which we can do. Where these are matured applications, but other than that, whatever you as customers would need, you can bring that application requirement to us or a business problem to us, and we will be able to give you a solution there. I now hand it over, to Japri to show us, at least take us through three of the applications and the use cases in greater detail, to take us through the capabilities and the applications which we have built. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajiv, and thanks, Tanguy, for sharing all the wonderful inputs on what Microsoft platform can bring for the customers, and especially how Copilot stitches with the Power Platform. And we finally come up with these kind of wonderful applications. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone, wherever you have joined. Thank you very much for joining this session. I will be talking about three major applications that I would want to showcase during this webinar. So one is around field sales and customer app, which I'll be starting with. And then I'll be talking about the employee onboarding application, which brings a very wonderful experience for any new prospective employee. And the third application is the inspection application that can be thought through between any scenarios like a retail scenario or a manufacturing plant or any kind of logistics company where inspections are carried out, and then basis inspections, if there are some issues reported, then the case management can happen. So these are the three applications I'll be talking about, starting with field sales application. Assume a persona of a salesperson who's on the field, and he uses the mobile app to do all the activities which he's supposed to do. So here the person is looking at his daily, weekly, and monthly dashboards. Basically, the order summaries, the visit he's done, the meetings he's done with the customer, and the kind of leads he's generated and how leads are getting converted. So the entire journey of the salesperson is being captured and shown on the mobile app as personal dashboards for the salesperson. I mean, he can go to an extent that he can get into each activity and see the details that he's performed, and he can always refer back. The person should also be able to start his day in the application with market visit. And the moment he gets into the application, he'll be able to see all the visits that he has to do, all the activities that he has to do. So now we are looking at the visit planning on the go. So of course, the visits will be planned already, but on the go, if he needs to add few more visits, it's just a click of button. You speak to the customer, and if customer is okay, just add few more visits, and that builds your day. Then all the visits and details can be filtered, searched, played with. So you can see the future visits, you can say today's visits, and then you can also filter out which visits are completed, not completed. Starting a visit, typically one would want to start seeing the customer. Now assume that salesperson is actually at the customer place. This could be a retailer. We are looking at opulent lightings here. So the person is actually scrolling through all the details of the customer. There is basic information, banking, credit information. Then he's also able to scroll through the documents which are there. And if there is anything new, you see a plus button, go and add it. Previous orders that we've placed with that customer, this gives a good view of the order history and how the customer buys from us. The previous visits, these could be his visits, or these could be his managers, or maybe other colleagues who are visiting the customer. The key contacts at the customer place, and the previous leads which he has generated. So there are few new products that we are talking to the customer, and it's very interesting to know. Now, if this is allowed to the salesperson, he can go and take a stock situation of the current products which are there. He can always go and update the current stock. This will automatically update along with the date that on this particular date, this was the stock updated by the salesperson on a particular day. So this gives a good visibility of what my product stock is at the retailer store, and of course, gives good insights. The person can also go and take some pictures. These are typically can be pictures of the how the products are displayed. And now we are looking at the order booking screen. So the application is showing products, pricing, discounts very clearly and cleanly. And there are filters, there are searches available to search through the products and easily place the order on the app. So we calling it a smart order booking because every calculation, everything is happening automatically. Then just moving on from the order booking, there are other capabilities like capturing the lead with next action plan as well. So if there is any new product discussed, there is interest by the customer, you can always fill in all the details and then can also set up the next action as a reminder to you. Here we are seeing that the intelligent co-pilot is giving some suggestions on what has been the previous trend and what the customer bought last time. It's also suggesting what products can be positioned now for order booking. So we go back to the lead capture with action plan. It is published already. The lead is captured. So we can view all the different leads which are there with statuses. We can filter. The entire lead management is part of the application in this. So you can have your action plans, you can have your filters, you can see how the leads are behaving, etc. in the application. And the the document uploads can also happen on the lead itself. So these could be the pictures of the products that customer is interested, or anything which is specific to, let's say, customer need. Those can be seen as part of the visit only. Now, once the lead is captured, it is important to note down all the activities that we are doing that regarding the lead, which means we can have MOMs, even recordings can be done through the application. The document uploads and other details can be captured. The follow-up activities can also be decided with the customer, which automatically sets to the calendar as well. And all the customer parameters in terms of what interest customer has, what are the next actions and things like that can be planned on the lead itself. So the activities are just coming up. It's very simple. The other very important aspect of lead is what products we are speaking to the customer and what is the interest of the customer. So we can note down the quantities customer is interested, and quickly from the product, once the customer confirms, the quote can be created. And there is a complete cycle of quote to order, which is very simple with clicks of button. And the discount approvals can also be run through the same application. Or new customer creation that can be done through the application itself. So you can capture all the details, take pictures, get any other details which are required for onboarding or any other documents. So all that is possible on the app with few clicks of button, and it's very intuitive, very simple to use. Other than that, the complaints can also be captured, or if there are any feedbacks, that can also be captured in the application. So it's a complete customer interaction from end to end that we are looking at, this particular field sales application. Now we are looking at the customer application. Now this is the app that customers can use. They can scroll through the products, they can see the prices, they can see what all is available from the company, and they can themselves place the products in the cart and then convert to the orders. They can also capture their product interests, which means that becomes the lead for us. For the management and for the central teams, there are beautiful dashboards possible. And these are all Power BI based dashboards with trends, with what bookings are happening, how much leads are getting generated, how my funnel is behaving. And we are also doing the time analysis in terms of how we are progressing with time on all these various parameters. Now I'll be moving to the employee onboarding application. Basically, what we are looking at employee onboarding is, let me just give you the context. Typically, when the recruitment happens for an employee, we kind of take him through the interviews and all that. Once that all is done and we are ready to offer to the employee, then that's the stage where employee onboarding application starts. So it very well integrates with all the recruitment and HR applications of the world, bringing in the list of prospective employees. Starts from there, and it covers the pre-onboarding phase where the employee is just negotiating with the company or talking to the company before joining, and then the joining phase, and then the post onboarding phase. So these are the three phases. Post onboarding is typically when he undergoes through some trainings and some other enablements, some benefits are passed to the employee and things like that. So the entire journey with checklists and all the activities, how that gets managed is what we have in the employee onboarding. Now we are looking at all the prospective employees which are ready to be hired. These must be coming from your HR application, and you can scroll through who are the new onboardings, which are ongoing onboardings, where the customers at the employees are at pre-onboarding or post-onboarding stage. So all that analysis is possible. This is HR looking at the entire data, and then we can look at any particular prospect employee with all the details which are possible to be captured, can be displayed here. These can be employment details. These could be details which are like what are the checklists that we need to do at the pre-onboarding stage and other details. And then we just saw that we can send an invitation. Now we'll be looking at, once we've sent the invitation, of course the employee gets the email with the app details that he needs to log in into. So we have beautiful app that the new prospective employee can access and can do most of the activities himself. So this is the employee app. If you really look at it, very interactive. Most of the stages are shown to him, what all things the employee needs to do. So all these things are so intuitive, and all the activities can be performed by the employees, filling in the details about himself, his employment experience, and things like that. And the employee can also upload the documents, connect his LinkedIn or other professional networks here, bringing in the details, um, take pictures of the documents or upload documents in the application. So basically completing all the activities which are pre-onboarding checklist activities. These could also be some medical or drug test which is required. So all those activities can be completed by the prospect employee using this app. And everything is so interactive and well seamed with the HR teams that they can even interact, chat with each other. The notifications can be sent, and it's a seamless experience, which typically what we've seen is that without this kind of an application, it's a very cumbersome process of email exchange. The data is missing and things like that. So that's where this application is very handy, and the customer experience. The customer here is employee. The employee experience is fantastic. Now we are looking at the chatbot, where employee wants to know the health benefits that company can give. He's already on a health benefit. He's asking whether that particular health benefit will be applicable, not applicable. What could be the incentive bonuses available for me? And chatbot is just answering everything, looking at the data from your website, your SharePoint sites, and other documents, policy documents that you have in OneDrive or anywhere you can keep. Now, whatever the employee is doing in the app, it is live updated here on the HR application that HR manager is using. So now, once HR is okay and satisfied, the HR can send the offer letter. Now we'll see how this offer letter agreement happens on DocuSign, and how the email exchanges happen automatically with the automations that we have on Power Platform. So we are looking at the email that the employee receives, the DocuSign agreement that is happening online. This is digital signing of the contract that employee is able to sign. It's all seamless, and whatever is happening is getting updated back to the HR team. Yeah, the signing is completed, email received with thanks. Very interesting thing is the timeline. So we have all the actions. If you see the right hand side of it, you see the timeline here, where everything is getting performed. Whatever actions are happening with time, they're getting captured here. Moving ahead. Now, of course, the employee is ready to join. So what we are doing is, what the HR team is doing, they are setting up checklists for the joining. So these are typically predefined checklists. They just need to align the people. So what essentially we are doing is setting up the joining and the post onboarding activities for the employee beforehand. How this helps is that we can organize all the respective teams. These could be finance teams, it could be security teams. Access might be required for the employee to come in. The buddy assignment might happen. Some of the IT orientation and IT systems might be required for the employee to start his first day. So by doing all these activities, we are proactively making different departments ready for the joining to happen and making a great day as joining day for the employee. So all the checklists for orientation and post orientation are ready. These are more of post onboarding checklists. You can have your specific checklists defined and the activities can happen. The trainings can happen, some other onboardings can happen, certifications can happen. All those things can happen on the application. Employee can, of course, give feedback on the surveys that we post. And we can see how we are faring as far as the employee experience is concerned. Again, all the Power BI dashboards are possible. We have very, very deep analytics on how the recruitments are happening, where the dropouts are happening, different departments, how they are performing, how we are performing for pre-onboarding, onboarding, or post-onboarding activities. So all those deeper analysis with geolocations is possible using the Power BI for employee onboarding application. Now we end that employee onboarding application and moving on to the inspection application. I'll just give a brief. So inspection application, you can imagine any facilities, equipments, vehicles, which needs to be inspected on regular basis, or there could be some audits which we need to perform, where the actual physical inspection of these facilities or equipments happen. And if there are any issues, they are reported back. And then the case management activities start, where the maintenance teams or the relevant teams start solving the problems. So, you can imagine the scenarios in manufacturing where there are plants where the equipment inspections and facilities inspection happen. You can imagine a healthcare, maybe a hospital or a healthcare provider where, some of the inspections are definitely required. These could be setting up the operation theaters, checking the other facilities for the good experience of the patients and things like that. Similarly, for a logistics company, these inspections can be checking out the vehicles, whether everything is working fine. And in a process manufacturing kind of a scenario, these could be the pressure, temperature readings of the equipments which are critical. So these can be different scenarios. A gym can have its own kind of a checklist. A retail store can have its own kind of checklist for inspection. So let's start with the app. So if you look at the user interface, it's kept very, very simple, informative. And the person starts the day with the checklist activities which are to be done. So what we are looking at is the status of each activity, where we are, what all activity need to be done, what is the expected duration for that activity. So this is what inspector is seeing. And he can always check the overdue tasks or future scheduled tasks, etc. Now the inspection has started. He started with one inspection. Of course, he needs to reach the particular place where the inspection would happen. So we have guided, map facility for the inspector. So Google Maps are integrated in the application. So this is the actual inspection screen where inspection is happening. He's noting down the details. He's taking pictures. He's taking audios and all those stuff. Regarding a particular inspection. Now, this is interesting. The CoPilot proactively is giving an indication. Now, it's actually reading through the specification document of this particular equipment, where the AI system knows what should be the right pressure and other readings, and basis that it is actually throwing a response that the pressure looks low, and there is a recommendation to raise a case. So while the other inspections are happening, the pictures are being taken, the ticket is also being generated. It is suggested. So once the inspector confirms, the ticket gets raised. The inspection is completed, and then the person can carry on with other inspections, other equipments, other facilities. This is more of a new asset which is being onboarded. Asset, you just say that what is the asset type. Now, how the system works is basis the asset type. Now, let's assume this is a security system, or this can also be a vehicle. Now, basis the asset type, all the checklist items. What we call as checklist is, what all inspections needs to be performed for that equipment or facility. All the checklist items will automatically be, brought onto the asset. Now, this is a new asset, but we know the asset type. Basis the asset type, we are fetching the checklist items. Some more details about when the asset is to be onboarded. So once we save those details, the checklist items are automatically mapped to this equipment. While the changes can be made, or this can be passed as such. So the asset is onboarded, all set for the next set of inspections for this. Now these are the tickets which the inspectors are raising. We see the recent ticket also raised on low oxygen pressure being shown here. Yeah, this is the new ticket. So obviously the filters and everything is pretty much standard there. So this is the ticket that's recently raised. And the ticket can be assigned to myself here or any other. Now we are looking at from the maintenance department perspective. This has gone to the maintenance department to work on. So it is assigned to John. So the ticket assignment happens. The maintenance teams collaboratively work to solve the problems. And then whatever is happening, again, we have very powerful Power BI dashboards to analyze, how the tickets are getting generated, how the resolutions are happening, what kind of inspections we are performing. So all those analytics are possible again through the Power BI dashboards. With this, I would end my presentation. And I would say many thanks to all of you for patiently listening to us. And I'm sure this would have been helpful to you. And now me, Rajiv, and Tango will open this forum for your questions to be answered. Thank you very much again, and we can proceed with the questions here.